doctor to see an American doctor about it, and he lets me listen to the stethoscope. And it's doing this weird thing. It's like a not a like a da-dum, 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 da-dum. It's like a Doki, 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 Doki. So I've got some kind of like Japanese arrhythmia now. Anyway, welcome to Alpha Wit Thursday's Silver Edition with your host, Alpha. Oh god, where'd they go?
I don't know. Where did he go?
Alpha is currently checking the stream. Stand by.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Alpha.
And
we've never promised.
Wit.
Yeah, we never promised to not have technical difficulties every single episode.
Hey, be happy I did, because Recluse's mic is quiet compared to everything else.
Okay, I can fix that. I can fix that. Just pump up the mic a little, just pumping up the mic. Jackie, let's get into a simple yet level-headed argument. I think that chocolate ganache is...
I don't know if your internet can handle this. You're artifacting in your audio for me. Although I'm curious to see whether or not that comes across on the stream.
Only one way to find out, and that's to let Alpha tell us. So let's have an argument about what the best type of chocolate is. I'm going to go on record to say that chocolate ganache is overrated, even though I think it is your favorite.
It's still as quiet. What's your mic setting on? What's your mic level on OBS?
Well, I've just pumped it up to -1 decibel.
-1?
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty freaking high.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Standing by. Actually, I'm going to pump it up again. I'm going to take it to the limit! 0 decibels!
No.
That's right.
Yeah.
This one goes to 0.
I never understood that.
Yeah.
What the negative and the...
I think it's because it's on a logarithmic
Okay, there you
scale.
go. There you go.
Okay, well, good. Taking it to 0.
It's enough now. It's enough.
It's enough. Oh boy.
It's enough.
Well, I'll take enough.
Alright. The other thing that would help is if you bring your desktop audio down on OBS. 5 decibels ought to do it.
5 decibels?
Bring it down by
decibels are
5,
different
or...
depending on where you are. But here goes 5 decibels.
Bring it down to 5 or by 5?
By 5.
Alright, I brought it down by 5 decibels. Are you satisfied with the results?
I guess I don't exactly... Oh, no, ganache is like the pouring icing.
Okay, everything's about even now.
Great. Alright, so, yes, it's the chocolate that you'd consider to be like the filling inside of like a chocolate truffle, or it's like when you think of gourmet chocolate, if it is heated, cooled, and like poured out, and it's kind of creamy, that is ganache.
It definitely has its place.
Oh shit, I thought you were describing the women we're about to...
Jesus, what does that mean to you?
Let's see. If we're gonna try and describe women as food...
I was going for smooth and creamy and...
Alright, just based on posture and clothing, I'm going to say that the pink-haired, red-haired woman is probably like chicken fingers, but it's not chicken, it's like alligator meat. Sorry, crocodile meat. No, alligator meat.
Okay, this
Alligator
left
meat.
off the rails.
So alligator fingers.
Okay. Is this what we're gonna refer to them as through the rest of the stream? Because that would be very funny to me personally.
She seems like she's kind of vanilla, tastes like chicken, but was much more dangerous to get there.
Right, so pink-haired girl is alligator fingers.
Mm-hmm. The tall one?
Long dark hair?
Yes, I'm gonna call her Pomegranate because she seems like she's like a lot of effort to really like crack through her shell, but she'd probably be pretty sweet once you get there.
Sure. Pomegranate, got it. Listen, Alpha, I know you're hyperventilating because you know a lot about this game, but you have to keep in mind that this is the grand tradition of Alpha with profiling base, so you really
laughing.
have to do that.
That's why I'm laughing. And I'm very proud of it because I started it.
An absolute monster.
So...
Alright, continue.
The one whose skirt has the most motion lines. She seems like a croissant, where she is buttery and delicious. Well, bubbly and delicious might be more of what I'm trying to say, but she's going to be a very messy person. You can see from the fact that she has not properly buttoned her uniform that she is more of like a carefree, kind of like absent-minded. Like the golden retriever that like knocks stuff off the table because he's wagging his tail so hard. That's what I get out of her body language and framing.
So she's butter croissant?
Sure.
Butter croissant, pomegranate, alligator fingers.
Yes. Let's see. What is the artist trying to tell me with the one remaining person? Her posture is very open. It's very...
melons, first of all.
Pardon?
Melons, first of all.
I mean, they're realistically proportioned breasts.
Not for a high school girl, but yeah.
I could easily see her being both envied by her classmates for the size of her boobs and worrying that her boobs aren't big enough. Especially if she's a high school girl. Big ribbon, like exceptionally big ribbon. I don't know what that's trying to communicate. And the contrapposo tells me that she has scoliosis.
Oh, she could just have that like good Japanese valedictorian posture.
I don't know. This one is a mystery to me. This one, she just
I can't wait for you to rewatch this. I really, truly cannot wait for that moment.
She seems so happy.
If we ever look back on our collective stuff, my channel, your channel, your channel.
Oh yes, all of this will be used against us in a court of law, and it will not look good for us, I'm sure. We will look like fools and monsters.
You're so on your own in this, or at least in this episode. We all have stuff that's incriminating, but like I know enough about this game to know that it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Alright. She is the most straight-laced of all of them because she has her collar buttoned up all the way, and she's the only one where that's visible. So I'm going to call her, USDA Grade A Well Done Hamburger.
Okay.
I don't know what we're gonna shorten that to just for ease of reference, but okay.
Hamburger. She is hamburger, but cooked safely.
Meat.
I don't feel super comfortable calling women meat because that implies.
And yet, what you've done is
No,
label them
No.
two of them different kinds of meat.
none of these are real people. These are characters. And a character is an idea transmitted from author to reader. And that relationship can be expressed at Alpha's request as different kinds of foods. So, that is what I'm doing. I'm trying to convey the communication I'm receiving about their characters from the author by their staging, their posture, their costuming, in terms of that analogy. This is fine, and while it does lean heavily on the physicality of the women, I'm not presenting their physical appearance as a factor. It is strictly from their posture, their outfitting, and their facial expressions. Not from like size of boobs or length of thigh exposed. Well, length of thigh exposed possibly, if I thought that was a purposeful statement about their character and not just enticement to get you to buy their product. Because people like thighs. Anyway.
One of the most nutritious parts of the chicken.
Anyway, I'm going to start a new game if no one stops me.
I wanted to see
Wow.
how long you would keep talking if nobody stopped you.
Actually, you know what? I will take full responsibility for this run.
That might be for the best.
I, for one, was not complaining.
I'm not used to Japanese dating sims. So outside of finger licking good dating simulator, I love you, Colonel Sanders. I'm not used to this style of game, and this menu is way better than the menu in Colonel Sanders. So I am instantly impressed by that. Do we want to do voices, or is this going to lead to issues and lack of sleep?
Not me. Not tonight.
You don't feel like voicing?
No, not this set of characters.
Oh yeah, so this is content warning. If you somehow like Silver aren't that familiar with this game, it is not really a Japanese visual novel. It has a ton of elements of that, but it becomes incredibly sinister, and really very dark, and at some points like genuinely upsetting.
Are you suggesting that we have stupid?
I had to click through no less than 3 content warnings to get to the title screen. One of which was involved. It was not just like a trigger warning kind of thing. It was like you agree that you are at least 13 or older and that you agree to see disturbing content. So
yeah, let's leave it at that because I don't want to spoil.
I don't know
any
what's
of that.
coming.
Hold on just a second here. Are you insinuating that we have stooped to the low of playing a game that is not family friendly on this show?
That's not the point. Because we play a ton of games that aren't family friendly.
The joke Rolaids was in poor taste, but ultimately no one is going to get flashbacks from that joke.
Precisely. Well, I won't say no one.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah. Just in case we suddenly develop an audience, which will almost definitely never happen. If you are sensitive to things that could be described as disturbing content or disturbing imagery, this one's not for you. Take care of yourself, and we will come back with something not safe for work, that it's silly and gross and not depressing.
Yeah, Alpha will eat
You
her
have to
crew.
warn him.
Sorry, not Alpha. Will eat her crew. Alpha will sexually harass some computer psychiatrists. It'll be fine.
And yeah, we'll get back to our regular scheduled content of stuff that's not safe for work versus stuff that could be hurtful to people. Yeah. So with that in mind,
If you're offended by anything, fuck off. See you in a few weeks.
I don't think it's about
Thanks,
offending so much as about... I don't know what the specific trauma is, whether it is familial abuse,
And we'll never
or murder, or rape, or self-harm, or eating disorders, or...
And we'll never find out unless we get on with this.
It's true. Okay, trigger warning's over. Unknown person is saying, "Hey, I see an annoying girl running towards me from a distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself." My guess would be that this is Butter Croissant. Sayori.
this is the girl next door, Sayori.
You know, the kind of friend you'd never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long.
Universally.
Ah, I was wrong.
Well done.
Oh,
I think this is Butter Croissant.
yeah, I think you're right.
I think
Butter. This is Butter
pink-haired
Croissant.
alligator fingers is much more.
This is Butter Croissant.
And if you are going the completionist route, I believe she goes first.
Alright, I don't exactly know what that means, but I'm assuming that it means that I date her.
Correct. She is the person you were aiming for.
Aiming for in a romantic capacity.
Correct.
Yeah. I just had to do that.
I would
I never
appreciate...
thought I'd hear Alpha make that sound.
I would appreciate if you made anime noises for all of these characters. Like a Zelda game or an anime.
I don't know.
I don't want them to think we're a couple or something.
Yeah, why aren't you
we
doing
are
line
a
thing?
real asshole right out the gate.
You're skipping your own dialogue.
I don't know if we're gonna read every word. These things are so speech heavy, and if neither of the other of us are reading, Silver, you can't possibly want to read the whole thing.
It depends on how long we want to
Yeah, I
take
guess
on
that's
this.
fair.
As we draw near, streets, speckled, other students, daily commute. By the way,
That's actually kind of a
have you-
great line.
have you
That
decided on
is
a
a good
club
one.
to join?
Oh boy.
We're not interested in
Oh,
joining any
boy.
clubs because we're miserable human beings. Wow.
Now you're just a high school boy.
Apparently I made a commitment to join a club this year. Wow! Wow, we're a monster!
He
So much for
just
child.
might not be that good of friends with her.
So much for childhood friendship. I guess it's true they drift apart.
Wait. Well, I'm perfectly just getting on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. Are we gonna turn into a school shooter? Is that what this is?
No, that's a different game.
Is it?
Are we going to get frustrated that none of the girls will fuck us, and then we take our dad's AR-15 and we go to school and we exact revenge and we write a vaguely racist manifesto about how none of these girls would have sex with us, even though we were a fairly wealthy upper middle class white male who got decent grades, and all of these chads are getting the girls even though they're poor and they're weaker and they're not as white.
It's
No.
not too soon for any of this. And
Alright, good. I'm glad.
It is universally too soon for all of it. But no, that is, in as much as all of these women are victims, we are also...
Neat.
Everyone's a victim.
N-E-E-T.
oh, really?
What is a neat?
I think they explain it, but I'm not positive.
I'll look it up. You explain it how you knew.
I think the game might explain.
I feel very justified in my naming this person Buttered Croissant.
If I remember correctly, it is a slang term to describe basically the kind of person that you were talking about, of like someone who's so into anime and video games that when they're forced to rely on themselves for like their living or like getting by, they're like almost completely helpless.
Hmm.
The acronym stands for not in education, employment, or training. So that's pretty much it.
Oh, yeah, that means sitting at home in the basement watching anime instead of working or schooling or training. Cool.
Yep.
Promise to join a club so she doesn't have to worry about us anymore. Yay!
Okay. So she strikes me as someone who is depressed and anxious.
Who?
The girl? Butter Croissant.
Croissant, I see. But she's so carefree.
I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. The anime club is the first club that everyone in high school joins.
I'm not. I think a lot. I didn't think it had a terribly strong draw for girls. Mostly because of the kind of guys that.
In my brain, anime clubs were mostly girls, but I might be conflating that because a lot of the anime clubs I went to were at an all-girl...
Women's
yeah,
college?
Yep.
There is no way I'm going to your club.
Not that I was even aware that she had any interest in literature. What are we trying to be, what's the term? Sundare about this? It's not like I care about whether you're interested in literature or not, Baka.
Who says she does have any interest in literature?
We were being serious.
Mm-hmm.
Or we were being literal about her
And it-
interest.
Yes. I'm being literally literal about a literature club.
Just start a club. Which is wild, because the work it takes to start an organization vastly outweighs any reward you get from being in an organization.
It's true.
Provided the organization succeeds.
Sure. Uh-oh. Comedy of
I do like
Cupcake.
that with
cupcakes and
Japanese
everything.
Japanese to
Cupcake?
English translations, they've agreed upon an unhappy laugh as opposed to a happy laugh. Whether it's ha ha ha, he he he, or I appreciate that.
Ha ha ho ho he.
Yeah, it is hard to transcribe nervous laughter. It's true. This could be manipulative press.
It is a little bit manipulative. Oh boy.
And
Yep.
the beginning of the end. Come meet the whole gang. I have not joined this club. Pomegranate?
Alligator fingers. So far, I feel like I nailed it 4 for 4.
It's possible.
Hmm.
We barely know anything about.
See, she's very forward. Alligator fingers is very forward. And it bothers Pomegranate she's not more reserved.
They're her cupcakes. Jeez, Sayori.
Hmm.
So that is some
Oh, somebody
aggressive creasing? Like normal clothing
That's
would
not
hang
a word.
normal clothing would hang loosely off of the bust. But this like tucks in under the bust. Like she's got like a sash for her underbust. Or maybe like a wire. But like for her shirt.
Well, yeah, it's like there's extra material in the top of the jacket, and it is form-fitted around where her breasts would be.
Yes. So
Are you saying she's padded?
no, I'm
Absolutely
saying
not. We're saying that the jacket is specially constructed.
Ah.
yes, the jacket has been especially constructed to accentuate her boobs. Aha, mature and timid, but also sweet. Did I not tell you of this day? Have I not prophesized of these personalities?
I will admit that you are nailing certain things right on the head.
You've taken my lessons well.
Yeah, we are masters at profiling here. All we need to do is look at you, and we have your whole life story and everything about you.
I mean,
And what's
Sure.
more, we will refuse to take in any additional information that you try to give us.
No! That is the mark of a bad profiler. A good profiler does judge books by their cover, but seeks to confirm or debunk their own biases actively by gathering information.
There is no such thing as a good profiler.
there are people in a certain group that we frequently hang with that will attest to my abilities at work that tie into this discussion of profile.
But profiling is inherently flawed because of the intense personal biases caused by the action of profiling.
This is true,
Perhaps.
which is why it is important that any profile includes actuarial assessment. I blanked on the word. I was looking for a word that's in
metadata. Metadata. The success of profiling shows that in a statistically significant amount of cases, it is it's a coin toss. It is no more useful than not going through with a profile.
Don't hold your biases against the people you're biased against.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
Matter of fact, don't hold them against anybody unless they're actually actively being pricks. Then do whatever you like.
Important to not only be as rigorous with your slaughtering your sacred cows in your profile as possible, but also to allow as much peer-reviewed investigation to the reliability and validity of your profiling techniques, because you want to be an accurate profiler and you want to discard techniques that are inaccurate. And it is also important to recognize societal biases that creep into actuarial assessments, a la gay people in donating blood, black people in getting car loans, etc., etc.
The problem is you can be a very logical and dispassionate profiler, but you're going to hand that profile and you will give the cops the idea of what they're supposed to be looking for. It's really easy to find someone who fits with what you're looking for, even if that doesn't happen to be the case.
Okay, that is fair. I had the benefit of having the people I was profiling versus trying to work backwards and extrapolate what a person is from other factors. I have not engaged in that kind of profiling because it's
fucking broke.
Yeah, it's basically FBI
but
pseudoscience.
Also, without the job description.
Yeah. I think those
They
profilers.
might as well be taking skull measurements.
Yeah, they like to get high on the smell of their own farts. It's true. Okay, she is.
Yeah, there's a difference between building a better picture of someone you already know about and finding someone based on the picture you think you've constructed.
Okay, so right now I have a choice between two of them.
Been presented.
I have no
if
choice.
you still intend. Cupcake.
I need an anime noise.
Wow! Sarah looks upset. What's wrong?
Monica doesn't look too thrilled either.
Oh, that sounds great.
Oh.
I guess this is shock and not upset.
Haha! Messy! Getting crumbs everywhere. Flaky, buttery, delicious crumbs.
That's the only way to eat a cupcake.
They are difficult to get through completely unscathed.
Are you familiar with the technique where you take a knife, you cut the bottom 2/3 of the cake, of the cupcake
You
off,
use a knife, you crumble it in your hands to get the
What?
bottom.
and then you smoosh it onto the top to make a frosted sandwich.
I am familiar with that. It
Yeah.
only works if it's not a filled cupcake, so check first. Because then
That
you
is
just
a
put
good
your
point.
knife, or in my case, your finger directly into the filling. And the problem with that is it does not really decrease the height of the cupcake any. So if they're very tall, especially those stupid, you have to unhinge your jaw like a snake. Yeah, tea is always. What did make us consider the literature?
I was afraid of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monica that I was practically dragged here by Sayori.
Yeah,
But
trying to be a good friend.
Monica, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club lab?
Oh, this does seem like slumming it after.
I like the
Could
presentation.
you check the stream?
Check the stream.
Yeah, because I'm getting a ton of audio articles, and I
Yeah.
wonder if it's just Discord or if the stream sounds like this.
Yes.
Yes, what?
He's checking.
The game sounds fine. Can you guys?
Yeah, okay. As long as it's not over the stream, then that's fine.
Yeah. We will take the audio cuts here in order to make sure that our customers, the viewers, get the best experience.
We've spared literally every expense to make sure that this is a pleasurable experience for.
Yeah.
The only mic that's on.
I should have my Dominion's
mic
5
that's
server for
unstable
this.
The only mic that.
The only mic that is unstable on the stream is mine.
That's wild, because I'm really not getting any problems.
I don't know. It's a fucking weird setup we've got here. But
This is hacked together and running on a 5-year-old gaming laptop, so. Anyway,
Yeah, but gaming laptops are like 2 years ahead, so it's only a 3-year-old laptop. It's also a visual novel. It is the opposite performance heavy.
Yes, but that's fair. But what we're doing is we're putting a strain between Discord to video streams, because I'm streaming to Alpha and Wit separately, and the stream to Twitch. It's, it's not nothing. Anyway,
and I'm pretty sure my
No, go ahead.
my current computer has a bad Wi-Fi adapter on it, so hopefully my issues here will be fixed with the computer that's coming in the next couple weeks.
Yes.
You're getting a whole new computer.
It's been almost 5 years. It's about time anyway.
I guess.
And I too am.
Are you at least gonna
getting
put it in the
my
same chassis?
computer
The box
wired to the router
didn't go
soon.
bad.
No, the box, I have another friend that could use one, so I'm gonna donate.
Alright, nice. I suppose that makes
Anyway, I really appreciate that they are presenting Hamburger, Well Done Hamburger, as someone who is admired and respected by the school, but doesn't feel like they belong on the top of the, like, social totem pole, because it's all arguing and fakeness and jockeying for position. So I like that. That feels very authentic to me. That she sees herself in a different way from how we see her, and how, like, stereotypes would stereotype her.
It is pretty refreshing. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. A lot of us have worked really hard for them. Guess that's why they were so delighted by the idea of a new member.
Gosh, shit, we're joining, aren't we?
So
The exact opposite of what we wanted.
So I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of
Enthusiasm.
thank you.
They make pills
Are you
for
suddenly into reading again?
If nobody else is going to take the main character, I'll take it.
Nobody else is gonna take anything, and we're just gonna make comments on what. If you're not up to it, you don't have to do it.
Oh, I'm absolutely up to it. See, there are certain types of characters that even I cannot pull off convincingly. I can certainly do this, but don't slow down for me. I'll improvise it through.
Oh boy.
Considering how little I've read these last few years, I don't really have a good way of answering. Manga, I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly. Looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet.
See? Alligator fingers.
Speed it up. I want to be. Yeah, actually, speed it up. I want to be tested.
Okay.
Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. What about
What does Yuri read?
Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up, she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people.
Reading a lot of horror lately. Interesting.
I read a horror book once. I desperately grasped something I can relate to at the minimum. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock.
Well, at least he can recognize that
Yeah,
he's
I was
so
gonna
out of his
say.
depth and has nothing to offer.
Oh yeah.
Alright, I'm wondering if this is gonna go like the brothers Karasimov, and they're all going to, whoever you end up dating ends up having a horrible crisis of identity and overreacts by having a horrible, like, plot twist break. So, like, Yuri is usually shy and reserved, and, like, the T is, like, very, like, a formal thing. But she's going to break down and like, murder someone. If the happiest person is going to engage in, like, some kind of self-harm, what would be the others? What is, like, the opposite of, like, a little bit aggressive. Ennui, depression, and I don't know. Croissant already seems depressed to me. Maybe she'll
Mm.
maybe she'll do. Oh, sorry, Croissant. Yes. Maybe she'll do like a line of coke and enter into a manic state where she just has unsafe, unprotected sex with strangers and tries heroin for the first time and then ODs. All of those would
Oh,
be
this
good,
is
like
escalating quick.
all of these would be good twists that would meet the disturbing levels that the content warnings have promised.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I think, I mean, some of those must have had to be added sort of later on, because there was always, like, for a lot of people, there was this element of complete surprise. But you're having an experience that a lot of people had of knowing that, like, something's gonna happen, and it
Right
must be
on.
bad, or they wouldn't have this many warnings on.
Lay it on, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm not going to interrupt the conversation. Just read.
Even J.J. Abrams and the Isle of the Lost Limbs, even that only had like one content warning and one statement from the authors that no one should be hated for being authentically who they are. And this was like 3, and you had to like agree that you were old enough for this and that you were down for some distressing content.
I don't think this one is nearly as explicitly gory as watching your character get disfigured over and over.
Not disfigured, because that implies that you just have sustained an injury to the face. This is more. That was more of like dismemberment.
No, it's the whole figure.
I suppose that's true. Being burned is disfiguring.
The face is just the thing we can see the most. I'm not cute!
She screamed
Do
adorably.
you write your own poem?
Oh, that's right. I forgot the nearly singular element of game is Poetry Simulator 3000.
Oh man, I'm excited for that.
And you, depending on which girl you're going after, you have to try and tailor your poems to make them, like, not necessarily like romantically, but just to like appeal to the sense of like the literature that they enjoy. So I hope you were paying attention.
I think that's literally all I've been doing so far.
What, paying attention?
Yeah, trying to pick apart who their characters are.
That is a good point. I think you may have an advantage, and also knowing that that kind of thing is coming up. But the advantage of you trying to food them is that you are putting ear to the ground of any possible character.
Food.
I said what I...
Mm-hmm. I like food.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do too.
I like so much, but I don't know if I could live without it.
What?
Poem time!
The problem is that the person I know the least about is Croissant, and she's the person I'm trying to go for.
Well, you know she was worried about you, and
Poetry about
she
anxieties.
is carefree.
Hold on.
What's that?
I bluntly come forth with what's on my mind the entire time. Oh my! Oh, come on! No,
He's not
no,
in.
dude, no, come on, man. Why you gotta do that?
He's trying to do what he wants. They've put him in a terribly awkward position.
How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision like? I mean, if writing poems is the price I gotta pay. Right. Okay. I've decided. I'm in. Hey, hands off.
Ugh. I mean, it would.
I mean, that's kind of what it was. At first. Thanks, I guess.
Write a poem.
Now I don't know if we're actually writing this poem.
You choose words.
Oh.
You'll see.
So it's a Jackbox prompt with multiple
Yeah,
choice?
you know it's not a billion miles away from Madverse City.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. And
Mad
really
libs,
hoping-
mad libs.
Now, Wit, I know you know how dangerous I am with Madverse City.
Yeah, we're not writing diss tracks this time. We're writing poetry.
Fuck.
When did you guys write
Hold
diss
on,
tracks?
Wait. Hold on. Just a minute. Who says diss tracks aren't poetry?
No, they absolutely 100% are. If that kind of effort is put into them to elevate them from the spoken word.
Considering we only have like 90 seconds in order to construct these, I don't know if you're still allowed to call them.
See, here's the thing. I hold that diss tracks are indeed poetry because it allows me to call myself the fucking poet laureate of a group.
The poet, what did you just say?
Laureate.
Laureate, whatever the high.
Okay, because at first you said lariat, which is a cowboy rope.
Hey, I can make poetry with a lasso.
That doesn't make any sense. And you shouldn't say it.
Well, if it doesn't make any sense, how do you know what I'm saying that I shouldn't say?
Because it's like you're jumbling words together. It's like you're having a stroke.
Have you never used rope before?
Yes, what does it have to do with poetry?
Okay. If I really have to explain this.
Yes, because it doesn't make any sense. If you're making a reference, it's a bad one.
If cowboys
That's
lasso
using a
cows,
rope.
he lassos words. He's a word boy.
No, that's not what I was going for. I was going for the fact that sex is poetry.
Oh, nobody thinks that.
You don't believe that? You don't
I
believe
mean-
a compelling and beautiful story can be told?
I think that there can be artistry in
Using-
sex, but I
using the
think that
lasso?
poetry specifically is about the
Using rope?
juxtaposition of ideas and words next to each other in such a way that it forms meanings. And I don't
Richard,
particularly
you cut out
form...
entire-
Yeah, we kind of lost that.
Sorry. So, if poetry is the arranging of words in patterns that are both pleasing to hear and evocative of the words put in juxtaposition, or the concepts put in juxtaposition, I'm not sure I would say the same about sex. Because I'm not sure that I
Yeah.
would say that, like, we're going to have, like, vaginal penetration, and then we're going to have a blowjob, and the juxtaposition of these two things conveys deeper meaning. It's just what can you do to excite your partner, and then a slow or fast escalation to where they want to be.
Yeah, I think you might have a slightly too romantic notion of.
Okay then.
Not that that is wrong. Perhaps I'm just too jaded. But I tend to think of sex more like a novel. There's some build-up of suspense, a rising action, a climax, and then a resolution.
A nap.
Just like all great novels.
Anyway, poet laureate of the diss track.
I am missing a sticker.
Okay.
Okay, blue eyes is croissant.
There's no hamburger.
Okay, there's no hamburger. Okay, that makes sense. He is the head honcho.
She's too busy.
Shame.
After image.
Ah! Imagination
Wait, how many
is
words did we
definitely
take?
her.
20. We are
Okay.
on 2 out of 20.
Nibble.
Games, I'm assuming, is her. Grief? Maybe? Yep. Oh boy, I'm starting to worry about her. Inferno's probably. Pomegranate.
Melody?
Hey,
Melody might be a happier one that fits her. I don't know if she was into
Does
music.
anybody else besides me have... Is my mic still cutting out?
A little bit. for me.
Sometimes. What?
I'm saying, does anybody have chat up besides me? Because we have
Uh-oh. A rando or one of our friends?
somebody I've never seen before.
All right, give
Oh,
the
boy.
quick boilerplate warning, and we'll keep moving on.
If you're not familiar with this game, there's a content
I
warning.
am pretty sure this person is extremely familiar with this game with the excitement they present.
Okay. So the person.
That having been said, I suggest if you don't have the chat up, bring it up now. You may be in for some entertainment.
Okay, fine.
I'm just worried about getting spoiled since I have no idea what's coming.
Did you know that your stream says you're playing Simulacra?
Oh, I should probably change that.
Oh shit! I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah, you'll
It's
have to-
fine. It's fine. I'll change it in post. We'll fix it in post.
What that means is next week, if we continue with that, we're gonna have a bigger audience. I can almost guarantee you that. Let's see. All the words that have come up thus far.
I think Silver's got it handled.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm two. I've gotten 2 for pomegranate, 1 for alligator fingers, and the rest have been 4. So that is 4. Okay, so I'm 4 to 2 on the next highest. I actually don't know what effulgent?
Do you need a dictionary?
I do.
Effulgent?
I want to say either it is like literal shit spewing from someone or like bubbly happiness spewing from someone. But I
Your
don't know
latter
which.
definition is close.
What is the
The latter
definition,
definition you
Alpha?
presented is close. Shining brightly, radiant.
Okay, so it was the second one. Because effluvium is a very similar word, and it means like brackish, shitty water.
Mm.
Uh-oh. There we go.
To explain to our we've given the ladies nicknames based on what food item Silver associated with them in a really convoluted
Tirade. diatribe.
Yeah, that's a
Monologue.
good one. It was weird, but this is where we've ended up. As Sayori is croissant, Natsuki
Unrequited.
is alligator fingers, and Yuri is pomegranate, and Monica is ham. Anyway, the boys did play simulacra, and it was they definitely didn't get the good ending, but I'm not entirely sure how good the good ending is in comparison. From what I understand, that game doesn't really have a good ending.
Parfait? You think? I think that's gonna be the middle ground.
I mean, I just like food.
Haha! I'm the best. Obligations seem to be big on her. Fear
Papa.
might be her misfortune, perhaps? Lazy? Yes, okay. Kitty is definitely alligator fingers. Frightening seems more
Climax.
pomegranate, so I'm gonna go with empty.
Electricity.
I'm more interested in suicide for diagnostic purposes. Like, who do I need to worry about?
You know, I was trying to avoid that.
Oh, uh-oh. Oh
I
no!
don't. I don't remember if we have to read this mess later, or if
Pleasure, and I hope we do.
as close to reading it as we have to get. But I know we get to hear theirs.
I'm concerned. I got a lot of pomegranate.
I think you'll have more chances to win favor with the particular girl you're aiming for. But I do believe that is the main mechanic.
I do legitimately hope that we get to read the poems we've made, because I want to see that a poem that talks about how my parfait is like a suicide.
Isn't that an Evanescence song?
Wow, I wonder how she's doing.
She's fine. She's been working with Lindsay Sterling.
Oh, no way.
Evanescence went on tour again, even though she tried to leave the band a few years ago. Because I remember reading the announcement of, like, they found another singer and guitar player that they really liked. And then I ended up reading that she's been, like, on tour with Evanescence, so obviously that didn't stick.
So, I recently discovered that there is a manga series that is almost as old as I am, that I am intensely interested in reading. Parasite. I watched the anime adaptation on Netflix, and it was one of those things where it's like, this is a pretty poor execution, but you can tell that the material they're adapting from is just dynamite.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Parasite, it's fucking bonkers. The idea is that there are these alien parasites that fall from the sky to Earth, and they like jump into your brain, and they eat your brain, and then they take over that part of your body. And this kid sees it land and jump towards him, and he like blocks it with his arm, and it eats his hand instead of his brain. And so now instead of having a parasite that had eaten his brain is now trying to like be invasion of the body snatchers, it's like a symbiote on his hand, and it's this alien thing with no sense of sympathy or compassion or empathy, and the two of their minds and biologies begin to intermingle. And he goes from being like a very stereotypically anxious, empathetic person to like a very cold, calculating, but successful person. And the parasite becomes more and more empathetic as time goes on. And it becomes a study in what does it mean to be human? What is the purpose of existence?
For anybody watching, this is part of the course.
And it was very good. It went places. I liked it.
It's a little bit Venom, huh?
I must
Very
confess,
Venom.
I never at all read any of the symbiote Spider-Mans.
Told for people who are fans of the comic book character that the movie was very strange because there was no Spider-Man content, which for the people who like the comic book series, like it. Put it this way: the character feels so strongly about Spider that he chooses to wear the Spider-Man symbol on his chest for the rest of his life, heavily influenced by the act of meeting Spider-Man. So to not have Spider-Man show up at all does some weird stuff to the character that people didn't fully understand. I will admit that movie is an incredible millennial queer power fantasy that I think we all need to appreciate a little.
I'm sorry, what?
and
Are
it's
you
also
saying that the Venom
power-
movie is a millennial queer fantasy movie?
Power fantasy.
Go on.
Is it also silly, dumb fun? Completely. But if you wanted to do an academic review, it's a queer love story about powerlessness and power.
Huh. I
Huh.
might actually be interested in seeing it now from that description, because I just assumed that it was meant for 14-year-old straight boys to look at the cool monster, the 14-year-old's idea of a badass.
There's definitely some silly, dumb fun in it. Like the motorcycle chase is pretty silly and dumb and fun. And of course, the Venom symbiote, when it takes over his ex-girlfriend, has to look like it has breasts when they kiss. But other than that, it's a little bit of romance. It's a little bit of rom-com between an alien parasite and a powerless millennial man who just wants to make a difference. Aww, so nice.
I mean, discussion is good.
When did we get so enthusiastic? That's what I want to know. Is it just because she's pretty?
Yes.
You know this isn't about the books, right?
I just didn't think we would be so moved by anyone doing anything nice for us because we're so unmoved by most things. I didn't realize he would take this so.
I remember
Well,
your sophomore year of college. You were exactly that person. As were we all at some point.
I assume you're referring to my many-year complete lack of self-control and will.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out which one of us was the someone did something nice for me and I'm very attached to it, and which one of them was the I'm doing something nice.
You were just highly motivated by beautiful, albeit unavailable women. Not that
That's
any of us
fair.
were.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to
Did the
read
poems
by
ever-
myself?
Yeah, but what about the poem?
Unfortunately, I don't think we got to read our masterpiece.
That makes me very, very sad.
I know, but there was no way that they would have a framework that would able to string together all the options.
It's fucking mad. There's
Yeah,
no
but
reason
this
they
is
couldn't.
supposed. It would ruin the mood of the story, such as it is.
I mean,
Because
are we
they
sure?
would be a Mad Lib disaster, and they would say like, "Wow, I didn't expect that from you. That really makes me think." And I really liked the use of some of your imagery to like underscore the hopelessness of the overall piece, and like it would be like reading one of those Mad Libs where you put in like butts as every single name.
How is any of this a bad thing?
I do love Mad Libs. There are
Really?
few
Mad
things that
Lowest
could be improved
form
by
of
Mad
humor.
Libs.
I mean, maybe, but in this,
Every once in a while, it's such a Blue Moon experience where it like all comes together and makes sense and is funny. It's mostly just like, oh, haha, see, they a silly word there. Well,
yeah, but at least in this instance, it was narrowed down to a choice of 10 each time, and there were no indicators of what was needed. That's like
which would
that's
make
like-
it so nonsensical to make those moments of actual humor even further apart.
unless we catch lightning with at least some of the words. That it can happen, and
Yeah.
it's mad.
I would appreciate it if they had done that work, but they did not.
It's a
So,
shame.
another thing that I like is this is well written because Butter Croissant's her consistent character trait is that she is hyper aware about how other people perceive things and how other people are thinking, and she gives it a lot of weight. She's not doing her own thing. She's trying to do her own thing as in relation to how everyone else is thinking. And I think that's great characterization.
So if the guest list here is to be believed, it looks like we've scared off the person that was actually in chat.
Really? I don't understand why they said the hello thing. Did the sound cut or something?
I do not know. I don't have it up actively right now. Could have been somebody that was offended by the Venom manga talk. Or whatever manga it was you were talking.
Comic book, not a manga.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Parasite, you mean?
Yeah.
I like the music.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack is good.
Alright, Alpha, anime girl noise.
Me?
Yeah, you.
They're much funnier when you do.
Oh god, am I really gonna lower myself to...
You absolutely are.
Also true.
Okay, just a moment.
Oh boy. That was pretty good. Thank you.
It's the little things that make these streams all worthwhile.
fuck.
Oh, that was a really good animation of her jumping back.
I have a reward for you of the most recent absolutely baffling windscreen from the Solitaire game, and I really think you'll like this one.
Oh.
Well, hyperlink it to us, and we'll get it after the stream.
Wait, are you multitasking again?
Oh yeah. It's a visual novel. Don't do this to me.
I suspect we will hook her back when we get to the more meaty parts.
Probably.
Me. You know, actually, I had half of mine to read the main character as due.
Oh boy, no thank you. I don't know.
There to finish that thought.
I think we would like to maintain a little bit more gravitas, or at least the plausible deniability of gravity for when shit pops up. And I don't think if we are committed to, we may regret what that will bring to those moments.
I mean, bringing Duke into anything is pretty regrettable.
There are times when it's like definitely fun and like the right thing to do comedically. And you have a pretty good instinct of knowing when that is.
Yeah, which is why I haven't actually done it up to this point. There are times to bring it out, and there are times not to bring it out.
And I appreciate your discretion.
I resent that, Alpha. Fuck you.
Oh, fucking yikes.
Why in the
Jesus.
hell?
God,
Why?
this character is still a bit of a monster. I thought he was getting
Damn.
better.
When did this become necessary, though?
Wow, how hateful.
It kind of looks like we are like secretly a Cylon, and there's like a pink light in our right eye that is reflecting off of her eyes.
Into hers, yeah. We are the robot.
She might have pink.
Oh, that wasn't that funny, but it really got me.
What?
Uh-oh. Oh, button trouble.
High school girls.
Oh boy. Well, there you go. Didn't even dance around.
I have
Don't
been a
say that.
school
Would it be better
counselor
if she broke-
for high school girls. I've been a camp counselor for high school girls. I know how much high school girls care about their boobs.
I tried to form words and failed miserably.
Oh. Well, good. Stick your gun.
Yeah, but it's still.
Oh.
Oh.
That is really cute and really pathological.
Yeah.
You know, they make.
Like, we
the
treat her like
perfect,
garbage. Sorry, what did you say, Alpha?
I was about to say that they're presenting themselves like the perfect moms I do. One of them is completely and utterly out there, and the other one is trying to ring.
Yeah, but that's true, but Silver pointed out he's still awful. But
Yeah, I
any
know.
scrap of affection, she's like completely living.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
very
know,
much
he is
like
pretty much
an abusive relationship where she tolerates way too much because she's dependent on the good things that we provide, the affection that we provide.
And he doesn't have it in him to just come out with it and play honestly.
Which is super cowardly. Because it's like basically self-harm at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Monica to the rest.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Oh god. Okay, so Sayori is the person we're aiming for.
Correct.
It is decision time. So we're going with Croissant.
I very much
Oh, yeah.
appreciate
A
you.
good friend after
Oh,
all.
yeah.
Ah.
Whoa.
Oh, good.
I am utterly saddened.
To rescue this girl.
What a
Maybe from
mess
the
of a human
whole school.
being.
Yeah,
well,
this girl needs help.
As much as I hate to say it, I suspect that's going to wind up being us. Especially if we're actually choosing.
We're the worst person for her. Unless our character does a serious 180 in his own.
A what?
I mean,
Oh no! This is the biggest red flag at all! That on the surface she thinks that
Oh,
we're really
dear.
selfish.
Ah, shit. Oh, boy.
oy.
Right? Just doing it
down.
because we like her hot friends. Oh!
How
Oh,
long
man
does
is
it
the
go
real
to hell,
monster.
Ugh.
Oh, boy.
So, now that you're seeing some worrying signs, what do you think the content that we need to be warned about is?
I mean, my biggest red
my
flag
first
here is like destructive relationships. Like the thing that I worry about when I see Sayori is her 30 years from now being utterly devastated from being abandoned by her cheating husband, who she put up with so much with until his drinking or drug abuse got so bad that he either left her or died. Left her because she was the only source of responsibility in the relationship, and he began to resent her as being not just someone who took good care of him and was fun sometimes, but as being the nag and the responsible one who's always bringing him down. and being the killjoy. And so he runs off with the other woman because she's just the fun in the relationship. And he'll find out that he needed that support, and she knows it too. So she's just waiting for him to come back. And that's the worst thing she could do. This is her opportunity to be free! To be free of him, to be free of the anchor around her neck. But she's so codependent with him. She's just waiting for him to get bored with his mistress and having to take care of himself and come back home. That's what I'm worried about.
And what do you think the ESRB rating on that?
Well, not E for everyone, but not
AA.
not not 3
KA.
content warnings. KA? I don't know what that
What
was.
does KA stand for?
Kindergarten.
AA is kids to adults.
No, I think maybe that would
How
be
is
like
that
a
different
teen.
I'm pretty sure they don't use KA anymore, but I believe Star Fox 64 may have been rated that. Let me take a look.
And was
I
that
remember
around the
seeing-
time that they phased it out?
Probably not too long before.
Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever, but I'm not mad, I want breakfast. That's a great poem, and now I'm worried about suicide, because sleeping forever, or people who talk about how they just wish they could go to sleep and not wake up, is like a normal thing for very depressed people to think when they are in the right headspace to think suicide sounds like a good idea. So that is
2 things.
clinically a warning sign for suicidality. And I would investigate.
But
Yeah.
she's not mad.
Two things to say here. First, my first guess was going to be self-harm, and second, to answer the question about the K to A rating, that's what everyone used to be until it was renamed to 98.
98.
Yeah. So
Renamed in the year
believe Star Fox
1998 or
64
renamed to 98?
No, renamed in 1998 from kids to adults to everyone. Star Fox 64 was one of the last games to carry that
I see.
before the change. Ouch.
Are you pregnant? Just a little bit. I wonder what she's doing at night.
You really want to know?
I didn't mean it in a pervy
Remember
way.
how much experience you... I was just saying, like, from the... I've been in charge of teenage girls before, and they are a little bit gross. Are you sure you still want to know?
Alright, we need to assemble the council, and we need to come to a decision on whether it is okay to find these girls attractive or not. Which sounds like a weird thing to say for a dating sim, but these are high school girls, explicitly high school girls. And
These are fictional characters in a fictional operation.
yeah, and up until this point, I have just like given a clinical perspective of these girls. Should I start giving sexual or like my personal sexual or romantic interest in these girls? Or is that,
Like I said,
in
this is pure
fact,
fiction.
super fucking weird?
Oh, it's
My
probably.
instinct is that you should try and keep it relatively
keep it relatively what?
Platonic. Not about like I am attracted to this girl, but I connect with certain things that she's or some of her actions. It's tricky because the headspace you are being invited to fill is an underage boy, and so theoretically it's not a problem.
Yeah.
We're not though.
Yeah.
Well,
I could tell you that underage boy would be utterly devoted to Sayori because she was my friend and she was a girl and she valued like the closeness and intimacy, and that is all teenage Richard wanted was a living, breathing, biological female who valued affection and friendship.
I didn't have anything.
I think that is a safe approach. I don't think you've said anything that crossed.
I didn't have anything even close to that in my teen years.
Were you interested in that at the time? Because like 13 and 14 are pretty fraught.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't interested in actually having a relationship, but a friend would have been.
Yeah, it's when you're just starting to recognize the potential for friendship in other genders.
I was a permanent outcast. That's not the problem.
I think that likewise colored my perspective on, like, having such a low bar. Like, as an adult, looking at this person, I can say, like, this person has a lot of growing up to do before they're ready for a relationship. And that is a big warning sign.
The protagonist or Sayori?
Both. 100% both. But I was speaking about Sayori. So, whereas teen me would have just said, like, there are no such things as red flags other than she's not breathing, she's not a biological female, or she's not interested. Adult Richard really only keeps the interested portion, but has a whole bevy of other red flags to watch out for. And this person is displaying so many.
Yeah. This relationship would be DOA.
I don't think it'd be dead on arrival.
No matter
I
how
think
much
that both parties would mature and change, and in maturing and changing, they would become different people who want different things, and they would lose their codependency that makes the relationship continue.
I don't know. It's very hard to as someone who displays a lot of codependent tendencies, kind of separate from a dependent, because I feel like I have been this way before I someone who was substance dependent in my life. It's really hard to show codependency because it feels, at least to me, like if I was just kind of all around better, then I could make everybody happy, especially the person that you're codependent around. Like I could help them enough that they wouldn't suffer, or so. The clinical definition, a codependent is someone who is kind of traveling alongside someone who is dependent on a substance or an idea, or it's basically an addict. And the person who is going along with them and believing that they can somehow influence the dependent person to change or And while you can be, so danger comes when believing you can do any of the hard work for that person. And as someone who has definitely shown a ton of similar behaviors to someone who's codependent, and in reading books about it and talking with my therapist to really identify with a lot of those ideas, I often feel like if I was just better at being codependent, I could totally juggle all those plates and make everyone happy all of the time. And I feel like all I need is practice. And I'm told that it's not the answer. That I'm supposed to give up some of feeling of responsibility, instead of feeling like I needed to be better at that response. Because it's not. It is ultimately the addict's responsibility to make the series of difficult choices every day to help them. And while you can be supportive and patient and lighten their burden in some, you can't make them make those decisions. And I just think that if I'm subtler and better, I can make them make those decisions. You'll see.
You see,
I'll be the best codependent there ever was, and then it's all over for you suckers.
I couldn't imagine that. I was the complete opposite when I was younger. Like, even now, like, my default setting was and always has been lone wolf. And back then, I absolutely had to be a lone wolf in order to be happy. Like, I wasn't happy in commune with almost anybody.
Yeah.
See, you
Nowadays,
say that, and yet you have created a curated collection of great people on your Discord server that
nowadays,
I think... Yeah, that's okay, that's fair. Nowadays being different from teenage you. I see.
From what Andrew from Alpha has told me, he has really done a bit of a 180 in his social life. Mostly, I'm told, by sheer force of will and a little bit of improv classes.
pretty much. Don't get me wrong, I still love being a lone wolf, but at least now it's not like being in commune with people is a drain on me.
Is your question... Sorry, 1 second. If your question, Silver, is whether or not second place has any effect?
Yes.
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Oh, but what I do know is that it's 10:01. So if this is a place to stop, we can get that information from someone who has played, that someone being my fiance.
I was gonna say I know somebody.
Yeah. And she can... She is not here at the moment. She is celebrating her best friend's 30th birthday.
Hey! Alright.
Kuro, the princess of dirt. Goddess
Yes.
of forgiveness. The All-Mother.
That is
What
a
did-
joke that no one will get.
What did she call herself on the server? Hold on. Everyone's favorite something.
Oh, I don't remember. That's still her name there?
Oh. Well, no, I'm not referring to Chikorita Rights. I'm referring to. I think it was in the book club. No, not the book club. Where's the smut channel?
There's a smut
They
channel?
made the smut channel? I didn't know they went through with that. I thought people were nervous about it.
I
thought
had
it was
noticed
made.
it.
Hold on.
I think it's in a server you're not in. It's for our local friends. Well, a little more local.
Oh, you know what? It might have been in suggestions.
Make your case, peasant?
No, it's not my server.
Oh, gotcha.
Anyway, we will pick this up next week while Alpha is searching for Kuro's personal epic. And I will get more information about whether or not it matters who you show it to next.
Found it. It is in that channel. Everyone's favorite smut peddling lesbian.
Yeah, that's my
is
girl.
is what she called herself.
She has pretty good recommendations. And she also knows where to find stuff, even if it's not her personal cup of tea.
And pretty good material of her own too.
She's an excellent writer.
Speaking of
So
material,
we
what
will
did you
pick this up next week. Next week may even be when some shit will start popping off. There's
Indeed. And as always, I can and will peg a consenting adult who is mature enough to enter into a sexual relationship with me.
absolutely.
And all this evening costume.
Yikes. Alpha, you want to take?
I'm Alpha, and go fuck yourselves to tide yourselves over till next week.
And all this evening cost you was a choice. I've been with.
I'm still Alpha.
And I continue to be Silver Recluse. Good night, one and all.
Good night.